Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a Monday morning, July 24th. Another morning at the Polderbaan. Another morning of arrivals. And the first airplane of the day is KLM Flight 872, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, arriving from Delhi. Its flight time 8 hours 46 minutes. It is a 3-year-old airplane, now touching down. Lovely morning. It looks overcast. Well, it is mostly overcast. There are some patches of blue sky here and there. We also have two 747s incoming. The first of which is now already in the traffic pattern. This is looking to the west. This is looking to the south. Beautiful Dutch cloudy skies. This is looking to the east. This is looking to the north, where traffic is coming from. Goedemorgen Paula. Doing fine, thank you for asking. Hope you are doing fine as well. Rowenda, goedemorgen. Yorkshire, good morning my friend. M13, goedemorgen. Eddie Boskasiel Jr., good afternoon my friend. Jono, good morning. Worship Nature, good morning. Jolande, Jens, Gillard, goedemorgen, good morning. Guten Morgen to all of you. Now, the weather is interesting. Precipitation is expected, and the precipitation will be showery, which means it is hard for the weather radar to accurately forecast what will happen. The 3-hour radar says it's going to stay dry for the upcoming 3 hours. Looking at the 8-hour forecast this morning, it was supposed to be raining already, so it's a mixed bag. There's no consistency in the weather forecasts. What is consistent is that it is going to rain later in the day. The only thing I can do is just keep an eye out, look around me, regularly look at the weather radar, see what is going on. I've got umbrellas with me, but the camera is set up for dry conditions, just because with the rain cover it is so much more difficult to follow accurately. So that is a last resort option. Do have umbrellas with me for temporary showers, like yesterday, if we need to take out the umbrella to keep the camera dry for a few minutes. If the rain is going to be more substantial, I am going to cut the stream short today. But I really wanted to go out today because my next day being able to stream is on Thursday, and all forecasts are predicting the entire day will be rainy. So I'm probably having a day off from streaming this Thursday. We'll see how it goes. For now, everything is dry. The wind has subsided compared with yesterday. It is still wind blowing, but 12 knots or so. Also, more activity in the water already. We have a Coot. And we can see that they are also agile climbers. A couple more over there. Haven't seen any ducks or grebes yet, but who knows? It is calmer, so maybe they come out to play. Russell Crowe and his bros were also present, more towards the parking lot. And as far as I could tell, we have two Boeing 747s expected within the hour. There was a third one that landed as I was walking up here and preparing to set up. Missed that one, unfortunately. Now, weather permitting, my intention is to stick around until the landing of the A380, which undoubtedly will be at the center runway, or if they open to 727, most likely not going to be this runway, but you never know. You gotta be in it to win it. So, but it's all under the condition that it's going to stay dry. If in an hour from now it starts pouring, then unfortunately I'm going to cut it short. So we'll see how the day goes. For now, It looks good. This is British Airways flight 2824, Airbus A321, arriving from London Gatwick. 44 minutes of flight time, 18-year-old airplane. First flight October 2004. En Tiriliri, goedemorgen, good morning. Michard van Werven, goedemorgen, good morning. Hey there Shannon, good morning. Paul checking in from Northern Ireland, good morning mate. Good to see you, hope all is well. JWB, goedemorgen, good morning. 40 degrees in Valencia. It is 18 degrees according to the meter over here. It feels a bit warmer, but that is perhaps because there is not so much wind as yesterday. Boy, it did pick up the wind yesterday after those showers. It was more windy than I had anticipated beforehand. Made for nice footage, of course. Hey Hans, goedemorgen. Have to take the dogs for a walk. Well, that's very important as well. You make sure that they get enough exercise, and by doing that you'll get enough exercise yourself as well. So that's a win-win. Hey Dale, good morning. Hope all is well, Dale. Interesting clouds, right? Little overwhelming. Well, the weather radar says they shouldn't contain precipitation. And isn't there a name for this phenomenon where you see those rays of sunshine seep through the clouds? I think there's a name for it. Johannes clouds or something, or Johannes light, or I don't know. At least in Dutch, I think there is a specific name for this phenomenon. Although, don't ask me what it is. Undoubtedly something religious or related to religion, which is not my cup of tea. The wind is present. It is blowing a bit away from us, so southwesterly wind, not too hard as you guys can see, not a lot of crabbing, not like yesterday, but that's okay. It makes for smoother following of the airplanes, which is also pleasant. Doing a stream again without the image stabilizer activated. Now it does take away, it does mitigate some of the shudder that you get from wind gusts, but it also overcorrects and undercorrects, so you get overshoots going up and down and too far to the left, too far to the right. It's not ideal. I have a hate-love relationship with image stabilization, but the shudder from wind does get mitigated quite effectively. Right, next up, the first 747 of the day, Suparna Airlines flight 87417, Boeing 747-400, arriving from Hefei in China. Current flight time of this airplane 10 hours and 16 minutes. It is a 747-400 freighter, ER between parentheses, so not sure if that means it is a converted 400 or a freighter. No idea. Half the alphabet is written behind it. 16-year-old airplane. First flight July 2007. Emanating from those engines, going up and down, distorting everything. Beautiful. That was a very satisfying landing, both visually and auditory. Jacobsladder, thanks for that, Eddie. I knew it had something to do with a name, probably a saint or something. Hey, good morning, BR. John Freddy, good morning. Very cold Queensland. Yeah, winter has arrived in down under, hasn't it? Tomo, good morning, goedemorgen. Pep Transit, good morning. Hey Peter, goedemorgen. Ant-Man, good morning. Back in down under again in Brisbane. Dare I ask what the weather is like over there right now? Hey Jackie, goedemorgen. Right, so now we'll have to make do with a few more narrow bodies. There is a second 747 underway. I think we'll see it within the hour. This is Finnair flight 1301 A321 arriving from Helsinki, Finland. Flight time 2 hours 15 minutes. 6-year-old airplane. First flight March 2017. Alright, she's taking the first exit, so you guys by now know what that means. Butt shot coming in. Winter here, 26 degrees Celsius, and man, that would mean your winter temperatures are higher than our summer temperatures, which of course wouldn't surprise me. Good morning, I Love Planes, Nigel's Folderol. Good afternoon to you too. Another viewer and Fun Vibes lover as well, from down under, Melbourne, Sydney. Good afternoon, mates. Nice to see so many viewers from down under having found the stream. Welcome to one and all. Et l'avion de la France est arrivé du Paris Charles de Gaulle. And it needs some WD-40 on those brakes. Now Ant-Man asks, would you ever do a nighttime stream with the landing lights? That would be cool. I could give it a go, although I'm not sure how good the quality of the footage would be. The sensor on my camera is not that big, not as big as it is on mirrorless cameras, for instance. So I think under low light conditions the footage would become very grainy. Now you can of course increase the shutter time, the exposure time a little to mitigate that, but not excessively long. You cannot make it excessively long because then the footage becomes sort of slow motion. I have already done some testing with my camera in low light conditions outside of Schiphol, and I have to say I wasn't very impressed by the footage in the sense that it was quite noisy. So I don't think my camera is optimally suited to do low light streaming. Could try and do a test run sometime. Then again, as the days get shorter, low light conditions will eventually occur also during the during daytime. So maybe some twilight streams will eventually happen. Speedbird 1, good morning. Yoppie Yoppie, good morning. Richard Zhang, checking in from China. Good afternoon, my friend. Welcome to the show. Hey Ton, goedemorgen. Wendy, goedemorgen. Hey, goedemorgen Frank. Is it still dry in Doetinchem? Or has it become dry again? We did have some thunderstorms and rain showers in parts of the country earlier in the day. Not sure which parts exactly were affected. Well, right now, despite the gloomy clouds on one side, we do also have this on the other side. So let's just see where the day will go. If you look in that direction, more to the north, I think there are showers forming over the North Sea, but the wind is blowing from the southwest, so it will be moving to that side, but it will stay on that side, north of me. So who knows, we might make it until the A380 without a droplet. That would be awesome. Let's not jinx it, let's not. Let's see. This is KLM flight 606 arriving from San Francisco. It is a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving after 9 hours and 22 minutes of flight time. 7-year-old airplane. Believe it or not, I'm now standing in the sunshine even. Well, I'm already not using autoton. My camera has a lot of focus dance and losing focus issues. So what I typically do is I stream on manual focus at infinity, and only if I do close-ups of the Coots, for instance, do I switch to auto. Meanwhile, I see that my favorite Aussie, Mr. Alvin, has also joined the group. Oi dickhead, good morning. Shiba Dog saying, hey you, greeting joyfully. Well, thank you so much for that super sticker there, Alvin. Good morning or good afternoon to you too. Hey Gosse, goedemorgen. Turkish A330-300 arriving from Istanbul, flight 1951. Settling down after 3 hours and 7 minutes of flight time. 9-year-old airplane. First flight October 2013. And would you believe it, the sun is out. Hey, it's Place, good morning. Guy, good morning, checking in from Luxembourg. What's the weather like over there? Yesterday we had comparable weather, you told us. Over here right now, beautiful cloudy skies. Let me see if I can push up the microphone with the XLR cable a little bit. It is folded, the cable, so the curve can push up the microphone perhaps a little bit. It's actually quite blue over here right now. Lovely way to begin the week. The Intergalactic Bakery has also joined the chat. Goedemorgen, good morning. This is Ryanair 737-800 arriving from Dublin, flight 420. At the moment all inbound traffic is coming to this runway. Hopefully that's going to stay so. Until the second 747 has also arrived. I didn't quite study excessively where it was flying, so I'm zooming out to see if I can see it already. Oh yeah, another Suparna arriving from Nanjing, now flying in the northwest of Hamburg, so approaching Dutch airspace. Blackburst, good morning. Belinda, goedemorgen. Eddie, good morning. Hope everybody is doing well. We're starting the week with arrivals at Polderbaan. This is a 777-300 ER arriving from Johannesburg, South Africa, KLM flight 592. Current flight time 10 hours and 19 minutes. This was a 14-year-old airplane that had its first flight in the year 2009. Now, how much can we see of the pipeline? There are several airplanes underway. Let's see. Can we only see one? Or can you guys see a second and or third one? Let me have a look on the laptop screen. Flock of birds, but no metal birds except the one. Hey Koenie, goedemorgen. Mathieu, goedemorgen. Oh yeah, there is the second airplane, right. So the clouds are still obscuring the pipeline, the visual pipeline somewhat. We have an A320neo from SAS coming in first. Arriving from Oslo, flight 821. Current flight time of the SAS, 1 hour and 31 minutes. Brand new airplane according to flight radar, which means less than a year old, and its first flight was in October 2022. Really quiet. That is not a microphone dysfunctioning, just a really quiet airplane that is almost silent when passing by. Right. One small bird and then we will see a few big birds again. Another SAS. It is an Embraer 195. Arriving from Copenhagen, flight 2551. Now setting foot on the ground after 1 hour and 6 minutes of flying. 15-year-old airplane. Exit stage left. But let me quickly turn around the camera. This is the next airplane. Obviously a Dreamliner. KLM flight 644 arriving from New York JFK. 6 hours and 4 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 1 year old. First flight June last year, so it just turned 1, and it is a Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, so the biggest of the family. Hey, good morning Elton, good morning Daniel. Another Aussie, awesome. So many Aussies this morning in our stream. Welcome to one and all. Daniel, goedemorgen. Peter P, good morning. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anyone. Welcome to all who have joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live with me, boy. And it's actually quite sunny right now. Another Dreamliner coming in. There also was a Grebe, but they have a sixth sense for when I point the camera towards them. Or at least I think it is a Grebe, isn't it? Or is it? Okay, I'll leave that up to you guys. The behavior is similar to what a Grebe does, namely as soon as they sense you point the camera towards them, they immediately dive under and go into hiding. This is El Al flying in from Tel Aviv, flight 337. Today they are sending a Dreamliner, Boeing 7879. The flight time of this airplane right now 4 hours 18 minutes. A 5-year-old airplane, first flight February 2018. And you can see as soon as the spoilers lower the flapper on, so that is that little bit in the middle between the big flaps, goes back into the flap configuration. Triple usage, part of the speed brakes when the spoilers on the top side of the wing are elevated. It's also part of the aileron system, so it goes up and down for banking left and right, and it is used as part of the flap system. Now, AMS Live logos back and forth. It is another Dreamliner coming in, and after that we are going to see the first quad engine of, no, not the first quad, the first and only A340 of the day. Surinam Airlines, Airways, arriving from Paramaribo. First, a Dreamliner from TUI. Now, can we see that quad already? Yeah, just about. I'm hearing horses' hooves. First time since I have been streaming and the channel has been created, I'm hearing a cart passing me by. Listen, I will show you in a minute. This is TUI flight 356 arriving from Curaçao Willemstad. Right, hold your horses or horse. Let me switch to autofocus. Get it properly in focus. So that's a first. Hey Olaf, Arjan, goedemorgen. Michi, goedemorgen. Serge, good morning. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, welcome and good day to you. Let's quickly go back to this little creature. the slowest climber of the field. This is Surinam Airways flight 994 arriving from Paramaribo, flight 994, Airbus A340-300. Current flight time 9 hours 6 minutes. And this airplane is 15 years old. First flight of this airplane was in April of the year 2008. Alright. Quite rare indeed. Hey Young Kees, goedemorgen, good morning. You're right, Tomo. Relatively tiny engines on such a big airplane. That is why it's also such a slow climber. Now, in comparison, this is a completely different breed of airplane. Sleek, curvy, big engines. Delta Airlines flight 74, ladies and gentlemen. It is an A350-900 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Its current flight time is 7 hours 14 minutes. It is a 5-year-old airplane already. First flight March 2018. And thank you so much, Alvin, for a super sticker with a white unicorn with rainbow hair. Well, that was not exactly what that that horse looked like, but indeed, the livery of the A340 was a bit more colorful. It is a nice combination of horse and rainbow. La France is present in the chat. Salut Camille et Jean-Yves. Comment ça va, mes amis? Now, next up is going to be an A319. EasyJet arriving from London Luton. Clouds seem to be obscuring. Oh wait, there is the next one. Yeah, so unfortunately the conditions are not too favorable for seeing many airplanes in a row. Who knows, it might open up a little bit. The sun is out, didn't expect that. Anyway, A319 arriving from London Luton, flight time 14 minutes, airplane is 17 years old. First flight, July 2006. This would be considered to be a KLM style landing, keeping up the speed, staying on the runway, vacate late, sooner to the gate. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the layout of Schiphol Airport, this runway, the Polderbaan, is furthest removed from the main platform area. The main platform area, the terminal building, all the gates, adjacent to the tower, which is visible far in the distance. And this is being fully zoomed out, so you can see it is quite distant. Airplanes over here still have 10-15 minutes of taxi to the gate at least. Also, because of the distance, this is the reason there's a second ATC control tower dedicated for traffic of Polderbaan, located over here. And adjacent to that is a fire station. I think the firemen already did their daily round. They typically do a round in 3 vehicles, often in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon or later in the morning, but I think I already saw them back at the station while arriving here. CRJ 900 from SAS flight 1553, arriving from Stockholm, 1 hour and 44 minutes of flight time. Wind does seem to be picking up a little bit, but following the airplane so far is relatively manageable without having to enable image stabilizer, which I rather don't do. Now this airplane is 12 years old. First flight of this airplane was in December 2010. Here too a butt shot is incoming. Goedemorgen Liewe. DP 2017, good morning. Hey Danny, goedemorgen. Good morning. Hope all is well. Let's see. Emirates Sky Cargo flight 9916 777, arriving from Aguadilla, 8 hours and 8 minutes of flight time. 9-year-old airplane. Few birds in the foreground, so maybe we get to see the bird control vehicle in the not too distant future. Definitely some squeakiness in the brakes there. Now, a nice mix of narrow bodies and heavies. After the heavy we saw land just now, we'll see a Boeing 737-700. And after that, another Dreamliner is expected. This is KLM flight 1224, one of the many flights between Paris and Amsterdam. 737-700, 42 minutes of flight time, 12-year-old airplane, its first flight May 2011. Right. Here is the next Dreamliner. United Airlines Flight 968. She's arriving from San Francisco. Boeing 7879 Dreamliner, the middle-sized one. Medium-sized, I should say. Current flight time 9 hours 25 minutes. It is a 7-year-old airplane that had its first flight in September 2015. Hey Henry, good morning. Ian, good morning. And indeed, those brakes do still need a few droplets of WD-40 or something. It's a phenomenon we see often with the Embraers, but nowadays you see it with many other airplane types on a regular basis as well. Though I think the Embraer 175s and the 190s display it the most, the squeakiness. But that is just a hunch. You have to take into account the fact that you see so much more Embraers because, well, KLM operates so many of them. That's a good question, Alvin. I think they do use ceramic or carbon brakes, but I'm not sure. It needs to be durable. I'm not sure if it is durable. I can imagine that it is more efficient than steel, both in terms of weight and in terms of how hard you can brake with it. And Teun, thank you so much for your generous super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. Really appreciate it. Thank you. But that is a good question, Alvin. Hey Kobe and Jan, goedemorgen, good morning. Google is our friend. Alvin already found out that at least the 747s and the 787s have them. Does make sense, if they're durable, that is. Right, this is another small airplane, and after that another big airplane is coming. This is Croatia Airlines Flight 450. It is an Airbus A319 in the Star Alliance livery, arriving from Zagreb, and it is underway now for 1 hour and 40 minutes. And it is a 24-year-old airplane, millennial, first flight May 1999. So it survived the millennium bug. But maybe it didn't make it out unscathed. Maybe it is suffering from permanent loss of engine power, post-millennium bug syndrome. Who knows? More research is needed. Another butt shot. Spoilers lowered. Will we also see the flaps go up? Not from this angle. You'd think, as those levers are adjacent to each other, lowering the speed brakes and also retracting the flaps would be done in one go, but time to do a little chilling and relaxing. Little laundry, Monday laundry day. Dare I say that it is actually getting a bit warm with the sun being out here. I am wearing my AMS Live hoodie because I thought it was going to be cloudy, windy and cold. Maybe even a bit dreary and drizzly, but the opposite is turning out to be the case. But I would much rather be sweating in my hoodie than getting wet from rain. This is the moisture I prefer. TUI flight 703, Dreamliner arriving from Bonaire 7878. Back in the Netherlands after 8 hours and 41 minutes of flying. This Dreamliner is 8 years old. Its first flight March 2015. Peter asks if we ever see turboprop aircraft at Amsterdam. Well, until last year we saw Dash 8s from Flybe, but since they have gone bankrupt we don't see them as often anymore. We do sometimes see the DC-3 Dakota from the Dutch Dakota Association take off or land at Schiphol Oost, usually on weekends for tour flights. This is K3, one of the bird control vehicles. It will probably set off some fireworks, or take a piss, or shrapnel. Okay, apparently some shrapnel was reported. Well, shrapnel is not the right term. Someone littered the runway, apparently. The other turboprop engined airplane that we sometimes see is from the Coast Guard, that also is stationed at Schiphol Oost. But commercial passenger flights with turboprops, I don't think we see them anymore. Flybe, I think, was the only one still flying turboprops with the Dash 8s, and that was until last year. I remember I did film some streams in the beginning days of my channel, so that's less than a year old. And Flybe regularly flew to Amsterdam, but I think since they stopped flying to Amsterdam, we don't see any anymore. Hey Veerle, goedemorgen. Heb je nog steeds vakantie? Your stream lags, restream please. Good morning. Happy to see that apparently the stream is not lagging very much. Hey Klaas, goedemorgen. Vacation is almost over. Tomorrow back to work. Didn't catch up on the messages, so last day of the holiday, tomorrow back to work for Veerle. 3 flights. Richard, goedemorgen. Are you working in aviation? I don't. Not exactly. But I did always want to become a pilot, so from a young age I have been very much interested in the world of aviation. Now, look at that. Baby grebes in the zebra livery. Up close. You can almost touch them. And again, without apparent parental supervision. There is another bird swimming over here, but that is a coot. So unless it is adopting the grebes, has something happened to one of the parents. There was a parent a few weeks ago accompanying them. That would be sad if something had happened to the parent. They do seem to manage on their own, but they are still young. Alright. Hey there, P. Willen, good morning. Rowenda, goedemorgen. Wilma, goedemorgen. Not sure if I already said hi to you guys. Gerrit, goedemorgen. Mats, good morning. Well, as long as they stay together, they'll have a bigger chance of surviving probably. If you have an itch, you got a scratch. Right, more traffic is coming. Let's focus on that again. E2 Embraer 195 coming in. Arriving from Berlin. KLM flight 1822. Touching down after an hour and a minute of flying. Relatively new airplane, as most E2 Embraers are. Flying for KLM, this one a year old. First flight May last year, May 2022 that is. Atypical for KLM, taking the first exit, slowing down. Favorite whale, E2. Will you be flying one tomorrow, Veerle? Alright, well, the next queen is, I think, going to be number 4. A few narrow bodies will precede it. And we can see the first 2 airplanes in the same shot. In the foreground, A319 EasyJet arriving from Prague. In the background, another A319 Lufthansa arriving from Munich. So this is EasyJet flight 27928, arriving from Prague in the Czech Republic. Current flight time an hour and 12 minutes. It is a 13-year-old airplane. First flight October 2009. So, big picture, looking to the south. This is looking to the west. This is looking to the east. And a big open patch of blue sky. And this is back to the north. Nice day ahead on Wednesday then for Veerle. Flying on the E2 Embraer 195. If they do take off, of course, and not have any engine problems. which is something we unfortunately for the passengers on those flights have seen happen before. If they do fly, they are beautiful machines, really quiet, really quiet. It's almost like, when are you going to set the takeoff thrust? And then it is already set. You're thinking, oh, they're just stabilizing the engines. The RPM, giving it a little bit of throttle. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, number 2 is going to be the second queen. You can see them both. In the foreground we have an Embraer 190 from British Airways, operated by BA City Flyer, Speedbird flight 8451, coming in from London City. 38 minutes of flight time right now, and it is a 13-year-old Embraer. First flight, February 2010. Now behind it is the second queen, the second Suparna Airlines. This is flight 87413. Arriving from Nanjing in China. 747 is underway now for 10 hours and 21 minutes. Bit older than the previous one, 31 years old. First flight August 1991. Holy cow. So that was way back in elementary school for me back then. Hey Anja, goedemorgen. Thomas, good morning. RS fan dude, good morning. Now ever since we've seen that fairing wobble on that Chinese 747, I keep watching to see if I'm not seeing anything wobble excessively, but it all looked good. It was another beautiful landing, both visually and auditory, if you'd ask me. And beautifully illuminated by the sun. So if you just joined us, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We are standing next to the Polderbaan, runway 18 right. Currently the only runway in use for arrivals for the time being, that is. I am expecting that we are going to see parallel arrivals sooner or later. If we get a momentary lull, let me also update the weather and take you guys through it. Not everybody knows what is moving from right to left in the ticker. At least that part with all the letters and numbers is abracadabra for some. It is the weather, and if you know what it says, it is very informative. Also lovely blue sky over here. It is the exception to the rule though, although we do get a more open cloud type. See some patches of blue here and there. Prevailing wind is coming from this direction more or less, or this, yeah, I think over here west southwestish. So that is where we have to look out for showers perhaps later in the day. This is looking to the south, this is looking to the east, and back to the north where an A330 is about to touch down. Delta Airlines flight 162, A330-300 arriving from Minneapolis. Somebody give that yellow car a speeding ticket. It was going faster than an airplane. Surely that isn't allowed over here. Now this A330 just touched down after almost 7.5 hours of flying, and it is a 19-year-old airplane. First flight of this airplane was in September of the year 2003. And indeed, Schiphol is quite difficult for non-Dutchies to pronounce. The sound is, I think, only used in Israeli and Dutch. Not sure if there are other languages that have similar sounds. It's as if you want to spit. This is KLM flight 598 arriving from Cape Town, South Africa, 777-300 ER, 11 hours and 7 minutes of flying flight time, almost half a day underway, made it back okay. Yay, hooray. 777 is here to stay. So this airplane, 8 years old, first flight February 2015. Nah, Patrick, Flemish people are the exception. You guys have a soft G. Schiphol is probably more how you guys pronounce it. Luchthaven Schiphol. Allee. Subtle nuances. People in the south of the Netherlands also pronounce the G sound, and the CH can also be a G sound with a soft G, as we say that in Dutch, literally translated zachte G, zachte G. Yeah, if you're not Dutch, it's probably all abracadabra for you guys. Hence this channel's name, AMS Live, not Schiphol Live. Much easier to pronounce, also shorter. This is Speedbird flight 430, Airbus A320, arriving from London Heathrow. Short flight, one of the many flights from both British Airways and KLM between the two airports. Typically 40 minutes, this time it is 42 minutes of flight time. It is a 15-year-old airplane. Its first flight was in October of the year 2007. Nah, Dale, I'm not writing down my rhymes, just freestyling. I mean, you cannot help feeling a bit like a rapper when you have your own clothing line in the merch shop, right? Also have to upgrade my Citroen C1 for a Cadillac Escalade, obviously. Get me some gold chains. Oh no, it's all ice and bling bling right now these days. Also have to make room in my fridge for Cristal champagne, although I would happily do that because it is good champagne. But that's beside the point. Right, 273-800s coming in. First one from Transavia, arriving from Olbia. Isn't that Corsica? It's one of those islands. Corsica or Sardinia? Olbia. I think it is Corsica. Flight 6916. Flight time 2 hours 3 minutes. It is a 24-year-old airplane. First flight May 1999. Ah, Sardinia. Thank you for that addition, Pep Transit. And the following airplane is another Boeing 737-800, this time from KLM. She's arriving from Edinburgh. It is KLM flight 1278, flight time 1 hour and 1 minute. Can we see the next airplane already? Yes, we can. The 737 in the foreground. In the top left corner, the next airplane. 737 is 4 years old. Its first flight was in March 2019. Behind it is yet another 737-800, also from KLM, but this one arriving from London Heathrow. Seems like half the flights you see are between Amsterdam and London in general. Luton, Stansted, Heathrow or Paris Charles de Gaulle. KLM flight 1002, arriving from London Heathrow, another Boeing 737-800. Behind it is the first non-737 in this line of 737s. EasyJet A319, arriving from Copenhagen. There is a little bit of crosswinds, as you guys can see. The airplane is pointing a little bit towards us. Not a lot. But the majority of the time the prevailing wind over here in this part of the country is from the southwest. It's also one of the reasons that this is one of the preferential runways, i.e. whenever possible in use. Also, all traffic is either to the north or from the north for this runway. And because it is relatively less dense populated immediately to the north of this runway, in terms of noise abatement regulations, it is good to use this runway as much as possible just to reduce the noise of airplanes for the people living around the airport. People are more bothered when other runways are used compared to this runway. So, two reasons this runway is often used. EasyJet A319, and after that a KLM Dreamliner, arriving from Cartagena. In the foreground, EasyJet flight 27936, as I said, A319, arriving from Copenhagen. Now Copenhagen is just over an hour away from here. Flight time of this airplane, 1 hour and 5 minutes. It is a 14-year-old airplane, first flight January 2009. Robert says, je houdt het goed vol. Thank you so much. Alrighty. Do get the impression that the wind is picking up somewhat. A few more ripples in the water. You can also feel it at times interfering with operating the camera somewhat. You see that it is getting a bit more shuddery. I think the smoothness, overall smoothness, is still best without image stabilizer, but if it gets worse I will have to resort to enabling it again. For now I think we can do without still. This is KLM flight 747. KLM has a way of assigning flight numbers that are also airplane types to flights that are flown by different airplanes than the airplane type call sign, flight number I should say. This is KLM flight 747, but it is a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena. 9 hours and 15 minutes of flight time. She's 7 years old, first flight January 2016. Hey Stefan, good morning. Black, yellow, red 2000. The colors of the Belgian flag. Goedemorgen. Lois Aviation, good morning. And Temo did some researching and found that there are about 50 daily flights between Amsterdam and the 6 airports in London in total. Insane, that's 2 an hour. Alright. Now I think the METAR needs updating, so instead of taking you through the weather right away, let me go on my laptop to Flight Radar and quickly check the newest weather report. Why am I not seeing it? Reload. Alright, there we go. Hiccup with Flight Radar. Alright. And paste. There we go. I have updated the ticker with the latest weather. It is now passing in the ticker. Let me first take you through the landing of this airplane. This is a Lufthansa A321 Neo arriving from Frankfurt. Lufthansa flight 988. Short flight, 49 minutes of flight time. 3-year-old airplane. First flight August 2019. Und herzlich willkommen in die Niederlande. Hey Ellie, good morning. Right, now we have a few minutes before the next airplane arrives, so let me lock the tripod, go back to my laptop and reset the ticker, take you through the weather. Very informative. If you know what it means, AHAM, EHAM, that is the abbreviation of Schiphol Airport. AMS and AHAM are the two abbreviations used for this airport. It is the 24th today, and this weather report is from 8:25 Zulu time. That is Greenwich Mean Time. That is from 20 minutes ago. First, it begins with wind. It is blowing with 10 knots from 230 degrees, so that is southwest. The wind is variable between 200 degrees and 270 degrees, so that is basically between south and west. Visibility 9999, 10 kilometers or more. Then it says something about the clouds, scattered clouds at 1,700 feet. Then the temperature, it is 20 degrees, the dew point is 16 degrees, that is the temperature at which water vapor condensates. Air pressure 1001 hectopascal QNH, and no sig means no significant changes in the weather in the upcoming 2 hours are expected. So if you know what the METAR means, it says a lot in just a few abbreviations. This is Royal Air Maroc, flight 1682, now touching down after its flight from Tangier. Beautiful livery, magnificent, awe-inspiring, it has to be said. Probably the prettiest airplane we have seen in the stream so far, outshining those boring 747s. Now, let's see. I see that the bright red Play A320 is also getting closer by. Not sure which one will be first. There's a 737-800 from Transavia arriving from the right, from the east. Are we able to see it land? Let me also take this moment to see if the runway usage has changed. I am fearful that we are going to see parallel arrivals sooner or later. Okay, right now runway usage according to the LVNL website is still the same as it is mentioned in the ticker. Hey Barbs, good morning. Good to see you again. Hope you're well. And Tim, absolutely not raining at the moment. Very lucky. I was a bit confused. I was hesitant to call the stream quite early already, so I first drove up to the parking lot of the Polderbaan, then did a reassessment, and then only did I announce the stream. Because the weather radar, well, there are showers expected, and the problem with showers is that they are hard to predict beforehand. So any weather radar predictions are unreliable when it comes to showers because they form spontaneously, and that's hard to predict. The 1 hour and the 3 hour said it was going to stay dry. The 8 hour said as an agricultural vehicle passes by on the cycling path. The 8 hour forecast, however, was indicating rain showers in the morning already, and with the sun not being very high early in the morning, it all looks a bit dark and gloomy. So I was a bit doubtful. I thought, let's just go out and see. Hey, this is interesting. Can I show you guys? I hope I can. Damn it. So, departing traffic from runway 24, but there's also a little airplane passing over without a contrail. Now, can I show you? I think I have it. So, passing almost nearly directly over me but without producing a concho. It was lucky that I saw them. Now, obviously it takes time for me to find it, being out here with reflections abound. But it looked nice. They optically looked close by, although they weren't. Now, talking about pretty sights, how about this? Let me zoom in a little so that you don't see my mustache hanging over the top. Another more traffic taking off from runway 24, flying to the north. Looks like a SkyTeam livery 737. Where is it? Too far up. Should be over there somewhere. Yes, there we go. Oh. Well, if it is clear, obviously I can see them a bit further in advance, follow them a bit more elaborately. And good morning to Blue Wolf Games. Patch, good morning, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, hope everybody is doing well, and particularly hope everybody is having a good time. You're watching arrivals here, Polderbound with me, boy. And this is a Transavia Boeing 737-800 returning home from Preveza. Right, now next up we'll see the lipstick or salami or whatever you guys want to call it airplane. It is Playtime, the successor of the bankrupt WOW Air. Play started flying to Amsterdam from Reykjavik in Iceland, I think a couple of months ago, and their livery is, well, striking. Let's just formulate it like so. Some will love it, others perhaps not so much. This is for flight 460 A320neo, arriving from Reykjavik, 2 hours and 36 minutes of flight time. Brand new airplane, first flight October 2022. Hey there Catherine, good morning. MJ van S, goedemorgen, good morning. And thank you, you have a nice day as well. That is a lot of heavy paint. A nice butt shot from the playplane. Let us continue. Next up is another E2 Embraer 195, and after that, is it already visible? Yes, just about. Another Dreamliner, arriving from Las Vegas. 2 KLM airplanes. This is KLM flight 1126, E2 Embraer 195, arriving from Copenhagen, Denmark. An hour and 3 minutes of flight time for this airplane already. It is 2 years old. First flight was in February of the year 2021. Now, weather permitting, my intention is to stay around until the daily flight from Emirates, the A380, originating from Dubai, has landed. It typically arrives between 1 and 1:15 p.m. local time. So that's in just under 2.5 hours from now, 2.5 hours. So far, the weather has been very positive. I'm positively surprised by how well the weather has been so far. Let's hope it's going to stay that way for 2.5 more hours. After that, all hell may break loose, but rather not, of course. Is it on time, by the way? What's the expected time of arrival? Does anybody know? I forgot to check that. I did see that it was a standard livery, but I forgot to check its estimated time of arrival before going out. Here we have KLM flight 636. It is a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Las Vegas. 9 hours and 16 minutes of flight time under its belt right now. This Dreamliner is 4 years old. First flight August 2018. And Leo, good morning. First time tuning in, good morning. Well, welcome to the show, Leo, and all other viewers who might be new to this channel. Welcome to you guys as well. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. If you're having fun, don't be afraid to say hi in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to ask a lot of knowledgeable people in the chat. Catherine, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. And Michele says that the A380, I'm assuming, is 10 minutes early, so it should be arriving around 1 then, meaning in 2 hours time. Now, over here in the foreground, several coots, not in water, but grazing on land. Are they coots? Or is that a duck? Is the goose? What are they? This is the left, the right one. Oh, both are coots, that much I can tell. I'm not sure what kind of bird this is. Is it a duck? You guys help me out. You guys probably know better than I do. I'm calling in a lifeline. Let's ask the audience. Little stubby 737-700 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, Paris. Also one of the many flights between the two airports, KLM flight 1228. This time 45 minutes flight time, and the airplane is still 13 years old. First flight November 2009. Catherine asks, what days do I stream? Well, weather permitting, I try to go out between Thursdays and Mondays. Tuesdays and Wednesdays I always have my other job, so to speak. And obviously weather permitting and agenda permitting, if I have appointments like dentist appointments and stuff like that, I sometimes am unable to make it. Plus I also sometimes just like to have a day off, but if I do go out, it will be on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday or Monday for now. Over here we have the arrival of Air Malta flight 394 A320neo. You've guessed it, it is arriving from Malta. 2 hours and 51 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 5 years old, first flight May 2018. So that one bird I was wondering what it was is a young meerkoet. Okay. Typical how those young don't resemble their parents. Same with grebes and their zebra livery. Good morning RD-Tube and good morning Anemoy. David, good morning. Checking in from Paderborn. Herzlich willkommen. Wir haben viele deutsch sprechende Zuschauer in die Stream und ihr seid alle sehr willkommen. Bro, Lina. First time tuning in. Nice duck spotting. Good morning. Yeah, whenever possible, if it is a bit slow and there are birds over here, I try to give you the experience of being here next to me. So if there's something flying in the air, or if there's something going on in one of the fields, or if there's bird activity over here in the water, I will try to show you the things you would be able to see if you were sitting next to me over here in the grass. Try to give you the experience of being here as much as possible. We're watching EasyJet arrive. Wind is picking up a little bit. More shudder in the footage. Let me see if I can guard the camera by standing between it and the wind a little bit. It is getting a bit worse. Maybe it is time to start using the image stabilizer again. This is going well. Right, let's refrain from using it just a little longer. Now the weather is changing a lot. We had more open clouds earlier. This is looking to the east. This is looking to the south. This is looking to the west. Southwest. This is more or less where the wind and the weather is coming from. It is changing. It doesn't immediately look like it is going to rain anytime soon. So that is the upshot. We see traffic on the glide slope and traffic approaching the glide slope. It is getting a little bit shuddery. I am going to go into the menu and enable image stabilizer again. So that should reduce the shudder somewhat. In the foreground, Iberia Express A320 flight 3722 arriving from Madrid, where it left an hour and 53 minutes ago. 10-year-old airplane, first flight March 2013. Now using image stabilizer, the shudder gets mitigated somewhat, but you do sometimes get the occasional over and undershoot on horizontal and vertical movements. Which is why I don't like using it whenever possible, but the shudder is worse to look at than the occasional overshoot and undershoot. Hey, Euro Aviation, good morning, mate. Yeah, the weather is reasonably okay so far. Positively surprised by that. Although things might change, so where's that card if you need it? Hold your horses. Peter PDK, good morning. Burke Aviation Spotter, goedemorgen. This is Air Canada Flight 808, Boeing 777 arrival from Toronto, Canada. Flight time 6 hours 21 minutes. It is a 777-200 long range. 15 years old, first flight January 2008. Olaf asks, how about the ATR-72? Well, good question. I don't think we have any airline carriers flying them to Schiphol. If they do fly to Schiphol, they always seem to be arriving and departing when I'm not streaming. Maybe someone knows with more certainty, but to my knowledge, as far as I know, no ATRs are coming to Schiphol anymore. They did come in the past, but don't think they do anymore. Exactly. We had Flybe and they flew until even last year, because I remember when starting out with the channel I still saw them on a regular basis. So it's less than a year ago that they stopped flying because of the bankruptcy. Those outer flaps are a bit dirty. They can do with a little washing. Obviously, if they retract, you don't see it so much. That's probably also why they are dirty. Well, it's nice that so far we have seen all the inbound traffic come to this runway, but it doesn't bode well if they are going to open it just around the time, or have it open when the A380 is expected. I wouldn't be surprised if they were going to open up 18C anytime soon. It is 11 o'clock already, so next up is an E2 Embraer 195 from KLM flight 1954, arriving from Zurich, where it left an hour and 6 minutes ago. Another new airplane. These Embraers are all really new. 1 year old airplane, first flight January 2022. Mishart says, it looks like there's more crosswind. Well, the wind is picking up a little bit. I do get that impression. And wind is still blowing from the southwest. Although it seems that it might have turned a little bit to the west as the smoke is moving to the right, and we are looking at the chimneys more or less at a 45-degree angle, so from southwest to northeast. So that would mean that the wind is indeed a bit more westerly, making it a bit more crosswindy. Well, seems that there's a momentary lull, or I have an issue with flight radar, but it looks like the first airplane is going to be a Boeing 737 that is flying downwind, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. It is flying at 4,350 feet. I'm looking to see if I can spot it. I have had success with airplanes flying over there before, but that was on less cloudy days. You can follow them all the way from downwind to base to final. think it is too low and too far out for me to see. It's a bit of a pity. Let me also have a quick look on the weather radar, see what it is telling us. Does look like a bit more dark clouds coming this way. And maybe, well, no, it looks like it is all moving. There is some shower formation to the west of me, over the North Sea. The wind is from the southwest, and if I had to call it, I would say it looks like it will probably move right along me to the north of me. Might get a few droplets, but maybe not. Hey there, WD Computer, Roger Maas, goedemorgen. So we're waiting for the next airplane to arrive, ladies and gentlemen. Boeing 737 will be coming in first, and after that a Dreamliner. I'm already checking to see if I can see that 737 as it is moving to the glide slope. Not sure if we can see it. I think it might be obscured by clouds. Oh wait, I have it. There we go. North of this airplane, a Dreamliner is flying more or less the same pattern. It is now turning final. The next airplane is visible over here, coming this way. KLM flight 1230, Boeing 737-800. Let me lock the... Oh, and we can see in the far left, we can see the Dreamliner behind it. Excellent. Lovely sight. Both coming this way. And Hans, thank you so much for gifting 5 AMS Live memberships. A very generous gift. And I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And congratulations and welcome to all new members to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Whenever there are ducks abound, you can now use the duck hunt dog emoji among others. Beautiful sight. Keep an eye out for that plane in the background. You will soon see its gear lower. Also nice to see how the wind is blowing the cloud in the background from left to right. And there goes the landing gear of the background, the airplane in the background. Bloop. Alright, well, it seems that there is an airplane now landing on runway 27. Looks like they are not opening up '18 center, but runway 27. If that is the case, then chances are, if it is open by the time the A380 is arriving, that it is going to go to that runway. This is not the best location to be looking at the A380 from, in that case. We'll have to see. Also some nice cloud formation over here. Time to quickly go back to the Dreamliner arriving, KLM flight 696, arriving from Toronto, Canada. Current flight time 6 hours 17 minutes. It is a Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner that is 6 years old, and its first flight was in August of the year 2016. Ciao Angelo, come stai? Welcome to the stream, and welcome to all other viewers who might be new to the channel. You're watching arrivals on the Polderbaan with me, Boy, and this is KLM flight 696 Dreamliner arriving from Toronto. So looks like it was just one plane going to runway 27. Not sure if it is structurally an open runway now or has become. We'll have to wait a few seconds for the next airplane, so let me quickly have a look and see if I can maybe get a clue. LVNL, what does it say? Yeah, so 27 has opened officially. So 24 for departures, and alright. There we go. Alright. Let's also have a look at the weather then, while I'm at it. Still a whole slew of airplanes destined for Amsterdam over the North Sea. A whole train of airplanes. I think most of them will come to this runway, and it looks like a lot of them are heavies. Temperature has increased to 20 degrees now. Let me update the ticker with the weather for you guys. There you go. And thank you for your kind words there, Catherine. So, weather update from 8:55 Zulu time, so that is from 25 minutes ago. Wind 12 knots, 230 degrees, variable between 200 and 270 degrees. Visibility still 10 kilometers or more. Scattered clouds at 1,900 feet. Temperature 20 degrees, dew point 15 degrees, and the air pressure is 1 hectopascal more than it was before, 1,002. Embraer KLM arriving from Norwich, 175. Richard asks, how often do you see airplanes with problems? Well, none, absolutely not. We do see airplanes with problems, but most of the time, luckily, I have seen problems that were identified before they went to the sky. So we have had several aborted takeoffs. Recently we even had 3 within 10 minutes. I even made a dedicated separate video about that you can find in the videos tab. We had 3 airplanes on that day within 10 minutes that cancelled their takeoff. 2 eventually did take off, and one, the E2 Embraer 195 from KLM, had to go back to the gate. We've also seen a couple of Delta A330s, and I did also, but that was not I was notified later by a viewer who brought it to my attention. I did also accidentally film a tail strike from a 737 MAX 8 of TUI, I believe it was, but it was only a minor tail strike. I had to look really closely to see it, but other than that, we have had some airplanes diverting back to Amsterdam, or almost diverting back. Recently we had an airplane that was, I'm not sure exactly where it was going to, somewhere in the United States, was almost halfway to the United Kingdom, then it had to return, flew over the North Sea south, almost to the Belgian coast, and then apparently they resolved their issue, turned back to the north, resumed their way back to, I think it was Las Vegas or something, or LAX. LAX, I think it was. So, I mean, they're not like real crashes or anything, or things that emergency services have to be called in for, but it's a technical game with mechanical things and electronical things, and sometimes things do go wrong or break or whatever, so, but nothing serious. Hey there, Martin. Who is in Norwich and saw the plane take off, and you also saw the landing just now. Isn't that nice? Not sure why the bird controller was standing there with the flashlights on. Maybe they are going to do an inspection or something, but I think that the pipeline for the runway is relatively full. Maybe he just forgot to switch it off. I'm sure many of us have also forgotten to turn off the lights of our car at some point. Although when you open the door you often hear the alarm then. Marcel, thank you for your kind words. Okay, Euro Aviation, thank you so much for joining, mate. Hope you get your car back later this morning. Also, thank you for your super chat, super sticker, my friend. If I'm not speaking to you again later this week, enjoy your stay in Israel. And Arush, good morning, welcome back. Good to see you again. Beautiful sky, beautiful clouds over here. Now, over here to the west, it does look a bit more grim, looking out to sea. Also further out to the north a bit more, but I think because the wind is blowing from the southwest to northeast, that what you are seeing right there will be passing in front that way. So in that sense, I think we are probably going to be good. Embraer 175 arriving from Southampton. And also, well, the wind almost feels like it is slowing down a little bit, so I am going back to filming without the image stabilizer on, see if that maybe is doable. And Martin is sending over their horrible weather from Norwich over to us. Thank you so much for that, my friend. I know that sharing is caring, but really you shouldn't have. So yeah, interesting. On the one side, some dark clouds forming over sea. Again, the wind is blowing from the southwest, so it is probably going to pass in front of me. And on the other hand, you have magnificent cloudy formations such as these, with patches of blue sky in between. Now, let's just pretend that what is on the other side isn't there and just look at these beautiful clouds for a moment. Hey Frank, goedemorgen. Clouds in Limburg in the southeast of the Netherlands as well. And indeed, Michi, those Ranger Raptors are beautiful vehicles. They also, I think they have two, and two are VWs. They are not as pretty, that's for sure. So, looking at flight radar, it looks like there is an A330 arriving from Bonaire. Now I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah, I do see it visually, so let me turn around the camera after taking a sip of water. I was a bit unsure if it was coming to this runway or perhaps the other. But it looks like the A330 will be coming over here, so bye bye clouds and hello there, A330. Back again at following airplanes without image stabilizer. See if it is doable again. This is KLM, and again one of those mix-up of flight numbers and airplane types. This is KLM flight 767, but of course it isn't a Boeing 767 that is flying it, but an Airbus A330-300 coming in from Bonaire in the Caribbean, where it left 8 hours 57 minutes ago. This A330-300, 8 years old, first flight October 2014. Ooh, Catherine has to go out for shopping. Good luck with that, thank you for joining. And if you come back later, after each stream, I typically always timestamp the highlights, put them in a pinned comment and also in the video description. So if you want to see the highlights that have happened after you went for shopping, come back later in the day. Usually takes a few hours after I'm done streaming, before getting everything back to the car, driving back home, having something to eat, update the thumbnail, look up the times of the highlights, etc. So typically a few hours after I'm done streaming, the highlights should also be timestamped and visible, so save some time. Alright, so the crabbing has intensified by the looks of it. More than what we saw earlier in the stream. I think I am going to enable image stabilizer again. You also might be hearing some explosives being set off. That would be the bird controller chasing away some birds. There it is, let me show you. So they have several tools at their disposal to chase away birds. One of them is their gun. And it's not killing them, but shooting flares that have explosive sounds or whistling sounds. They also have a soundboard on which they have sounds of birds of prey, so natural enemies of the birds that flock around Schiphol, which when they play that also chases away the birds. So if you like fireworks, if you like airplanes, if you like driving awesome all-terrain vehicles, if you like the color yellow, if you like playing with sound effects, if you don't mind working day and night, or at least working night shifts or weekends, this might be the job for you. Alright, Paul, goedemorgen. Checking in from Leiden, I think, or Noordwijk. Somewhere in the vicinity of Leiden. 2 Embraer 190s coming in, the first one in the Sky Team livery. I'm clicking on the wrong airplane. KLM flight 1050 arriving from Bristol, Embraer 190, Sky Team livery, flight time 49 minutes, airplane age 11 years. You guys know what is coming next. Butt shot coming in. Still have to go out for a walk in that area. The part just north of the village of Noordwijk, where the Atlantic Wall. There's an Atlantic Wall walk you can do there, I believe. Still have to do that. Nice area for walking or cycling. Coastal region in the vicinity of Noordwijk. Beautiful location. Two more Embraer 190s coming up. This is KLM flight 1198 arriving from Stavanger. Flight time 1 hour and 15 minutes. Can we see the next one as well? Oh yeah, in the top left, just about. So, this one is originating from Stavanger, flight time 1 hour and 16 minutes, touching down, and it is 13 years old, first flight October 2009. Thank you so much, Alvin, for that peach super sticker. Cheers, you dickhead. Misha says, I think we have bad luck where the A380 is landing, but there can change a lot within 90 minutes. Absolutely true. And if they have runway 27 open right now, maybe they will close it again around 1 o'clock. Fingers crossed. Hope for that. And indeed, Veerle, the Embraers are taking over. Here is another Embraer 190 leaning in the wind, arriving from Dublin, Ireland. Flight 934, now touching down, also after 1 hour and 6 minutes of flight time. Alrighty. Now, let's hope that the pilots of the next airplane have been listening to Let's Get Loud. Lord knows that this machine has the potential to become very loud. It is Delta Airlines. It is an Airbus A330-300. She's arriving from Detroit, Michigan. Flight time 6 hours 59 minutes. The airplane is 7 years old. First flight May 2016. Milchintoleranz, guten Morgen. Was schön, dass du auch wieder dabei bist. Wie geht's? So this is a little intermezzo. After the landing of this A330 we will see more Embraers. So if you need your Embraer fix and are not satisfied yet, don't worry, we got you covered. Only a teensy bit of reverse thrust there. We did hear the engine spool up, but they did not go full reverse, unfortunately. Probably one of the loudest, together with the 747s in the game, when they apply the reverse thrust. Alright, 2 Embraer 190s coming in. K3 passing by. Let's try to pretend that what is on the other side behind me, the darkness, is not there. Focus on the light. We do see some darkness, but this is more northwest, this is directly west. This is where the wind is blowing from, so it still looks good. It looks like the rain and showers that are forming over the sea will pass in front of me over there. Now that could of course interfere with traffic coming to the polderbaan if it is very active with winds and stuff, and if thunder is involved. So although it looks nice, and we'll probably keep it dry over here, doesn't necessarily mean that it is all good news. Right, we've all seen the light. Salvation is near. Let's see. 2 airplanes visible. Third one also already visible. 3 airplanes, 1 shot. Embraer 190, A320, 777. In the foreground, Embraer 190, looks like it is a German Airways one, arriving from Glasgow. A320 will be arriving from London Luton, and the triple is arriving from Vancouver. So this is KLM flight 1472, flown by German Airways for KLM, Embraer 190, arriving from Glasgow, now touching down after 1 hour and 7 minutes of flight time. Standard livery, No chocolate cakes on the outside of this airplane, unfortunately. Embraer 190 long range, 16-year-old airplane, first flight January 2007. And hey there, Alexander. Now, I was able to read your name, but I'm not very good in Russian, and what you were saying, I don't know. But privet altogether. Next up, EasyJet flight 22515 Airbus A320, arriving from London Luton, where it left 41 minutes ago, and this is an 8-year-old airplane, first flight June 2015. Exit stage left, first exit. We're standing in line with that, so butt shot coming in. The airplane beautifully illuminated by the sun. Bit of gloomy clouds in the background make for a nice contrast. Let's quickly turn around. Heavies time. KLM flight 682 777-300ER, arriving from Vancouver, Canada. 8 hours 42 minutes of flight time. 6-year-old airplane. Hey Afrodite, goedemorgen. Good morning. Good to see you again. Time to go back to other big birds. Another flying AMS live logo coming in. KLM flight 604. Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, the biggest of the bunch. She is arriving from Los Angeles, California. Flight time of this airplane right now, 9 hours 47 minutes. It is a 2-year-old airplane that had its first flight in December of the year 2020. Really coming in, check it out. Excellent. Right, well, can't get enough of big birds. I got you covered. Next up is another triple. Is there more behind it? Don't see it. Let's look at flight radar. Ah, another Embraer 190 will follow after this airplane. Hey there, Bisnovat. Good morning. Good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well. This is KLM flight 736, arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao in the Caribbean. It is another 777-300ER, underway now for 8 hours and 47 minutes. This airplane is 11 years old, first flight May 2012. Yeah, Bisnovat, I thought let's go out and see where it ends. We do expect precipitation later in the day, shower formation. The weather radar showed conflicting information in their predictions for 3 hours and 8 hours ahead. So just took the gamble, thought let's see where it goes, and so far I haven't been disappointed. We've seen beautiful skies, beautiful clouds, birds, airplanes. Here too, again, beautiful. So this is looking to the east, this is looking to the south. The wind is blowing from the southwest, so that is coming from over here. Now it does, for the first time, begin to get a little bit more dark in the distance. So let me also check the weather radar in a minute. This is directly east. This is to the north. Now the wind is blowing from the southwest to the northeast, so a lot of what you see over there is going to the right. Will pass north of me, but I'm not sure if we are going to stay dry all the time. My intention is to stick around until the arrival of the Emirates A380. I am hoping, perhaps against knowing better, that the A380 will land on Polderbaan. It looks like we might get some rain later, so I'm not sure how long I am going to stay around for. Maybe some of the darkness seen in the southwest will graze my location. For now it doesn't look like it's going to be much. Embraer 190, German Airways flying for KLM, arriving from Newcastle. And this airplane too might need some WD-40 for the brakes. Another butt shot coming in. We're standing in line with the first exit of the runway, and whenever an airplane such as this Embraer right now is taking it, we get to see the airplane directly from behind like such. Hence the butt shot. Now this looks really pretty. I wish I could just ignore what is on the other side, but fact of the matter is the wind is blowing from this direction, and looking further out it does look now for the first time a bit more grim than it has been so far. So we might get some precipitation over here as well. Have to see how it goes. In the meantime, Airbus A320neo arriving from London Gatwick, touching down after 44 minutes of flight. The airplane is 4 years old. Hey there, Grace Kelly, good morning. Morgan. Wie geht's? I'm doing well. Okay. Cafe Spotter, good morning. Right. Alvin has to go. Thank you so much for joining, Alvin. Take care, my favorite Aussie. Be well. See you soon, mate. So, let me have another look at the weather. The METAR. Update the weather. Wind has increased a little bit to 13 knots. Right, so just updated the ticker with the latest METAR for you guys. Let me quickly turn around the camera and show you the landing of the next airplane first, then take you through it. So this would be a German Airways Embraer 190 flying for KLM. Flight 1986, arriving from Basel. Now touching down after an hour and 6 minutes. Now this is a 14-year-old airplane. And that cute baby Grebe over here. In the zebra livery. Right, so most important takeaway from the weather, which I will show you after this airplane has touched down. Do feel that the wind is picking up a little bit. That might be indicative of a shower coming this way. Wind typically picks up before rain. Now, heavies arriving, A330 number 1 in the ticker. Update from 9:25 Zulu hours, so that is from 13 minutes ago. Wind 13 knots, 250 degrees, variable between 220 and 280 degrees. Visibility still 10 kilometers or more. Scattered clouds at 2,100 feet, scattered clouds at 4,000 feet. 19 degrees temperature, dew point 14 degrees, QNH, the air pressure 1002 hectopascal. No significant change in the weather expected in the upcoming 2 hours still. This is looking to the northwest of me. Let's just see where it ends, how it goes. This is Delta Airlines Flight 164, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Minneapolis. About to touch down after 7 hours and 26 minutes of flight time. She's 18 years old, first flight March 2005. relatively flat angle of attack, a bit bouncy. But definitely some nice usage of the reverse thrust there. And Matthias says, hello and greetings from Thailand. Good day to you. Peter van Kesteren, goedemorgen. Steve88, good morning. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope all is well. Mr. Big Dash 107 says, hey folks, I say hey to you too. All other people who have joined in the meantime, welcome to the show. You're watching Arrivals at the Polderbaan with me, boy. Now, there's definitely some rain going to fall further up north. Not sure how long. We are going to keep it dry over here. Over here is the next airplane, Transavia flight 5132, arriving from Barcelona. Flight time 1 hour and 50 minutes. The airplane's age 7 years. It is flying since March 2016. So, the weather is a bit like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Looking over here, you think, oh, beautiful summery weather, blue sky, friendly clouds, looks very cheerful and summery, doesn't it? Do a 180. My God, what the F is going on over there? Rain, precipitation, maybe even thunderstorms, I'm not sure. Doesn't look that well. Now the wind is blowing from the southwest. And that means coming from over here. Looks grim, but lighter than on the other side. So who knows, it might dissolve. Let's just be hopeful. But realistically speaking, it might end sooner than I would have wanted this stream. My intention is to stick around for another hour. Hope to see the A380 land, but we'll have to see if we'll make it until then. Preservation of equipment goes first, otherwise it'll be over with the channel sooner than I want it to be. In the meantime, Paul Tripod, thank you so much for your super sticker, mate. Hippo character repeatedly points to the streamer while chanting, "Git God." Wonderful, thank you so much for a very generous donation. I appreciate it thoroughly, thank you. Now, we're almost missing the landing of the next airplane. It is a Boeing, no, it is an, how dare I say Boeing, it is an Embraer 175. Of course it is an Embraer 175, because all streams from Amsterdam are filled to the brim with them. Now, if you have difficulty discerning the 190s and the 175, it is very easy to discern them. If you look at the winglet, you can see it is relatively big and it is standing outward more. With the 190, it is a bit smaller and more vertical. It does also start to feel a bit more chilly. With this coming my way. Now directly in the middle, where the wind I think is coming from, it is more clear than over there where it is more dark, and over there where it also is more dark. Really don't want to go if it really isn't necessary. KLM 100 years livery, Dreamliner. Doing a little wheelie to boot. That was KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City, 787-10 Dreamliner, touching down after 9 hours and 45 minutes of flying. A 4-year-old airplane. Hey there, Bobby, good morning. Good to see you again, my friend. Checking in from Florida, where it is undoubtedly still early. Time difference 6 hours, so it's 6 a.m. right now over there. But you know what they say, the early bird catches the worm. Ellie, I do have umbrellas ready. I have a big storm umbrella and a small storm umbrella ready, so if needed I can provide some shelter. Got my equipment in a laptop tent that is waterproof, can even velcro the front closed. My power supply I have covered in the bag of my tripod. Can also put, I always have a roll of garbage disposal bags with me, so if push comes to shove I can also put a big garbage bag over the lot. But ideally I hope it won't come to that. Let's see. Our next airplane is another Embraer 190, and after that we are going to see an E2 Embraer 195. This is KLM flight 1060 arriving from Cardiff. Flight time 53 minutes. 13-year-old airplane, first flight February 2010. And that was bird controller driving in the foreground in the opposite direction, photobombing momentarily. Well, the literal translation, Aphrodite, is well, preparation is half the work. But I'm pretty sure that the saying is different in English. Let me quickly have a look at the radar, the weather radar, see what the latest situation is like. Right, so interestingly it says that it's not going to start raining until just after 1:30. Now let me zoom in on the past our radar and zoom in closely so that I can see what is happening. Well, it is moving towards me. It's moving towards me, but it also seems to dissolve. Looking at the last hour, it looks like it is. It looks like it is dissolving. Well, so you do see some activation, but you also see it dissipate again. There is rain coming. It is definitely out there. It's getting closer, but I really think that this is where the weather for me is coming from. Or here. This part is definitely brighter than that part. So let me just stay out a little longer. If it is going to dissolve completely or if it's only going to be a few droplets for 10 minutes or so, at least we can stick around until the A380 has arrived. Now, after this landing, let me also have a look and see what the expected runway usage is going to be. Now, that is never reliable but it does give an indication of what is expected, and it is right most of the time, but not always. Right. Let me quickly crouch back behind my laptop and go to bezoekbos.nl. Right. Expected runway usage morning and afternoon. Okay, arrivals on Polderbaan from 11:40 until 1 o'clock. And then 18C also opening up for arrivals together with Polderbaan from 1 p.m. onward. So if the A380 arrives before 1 o'clock, we might be able to see it over here. Right now, it should be the only runway in use for arrivals again. Is that true? I don't see any traffic going to runway 27 anymore, so it looks like that part is actually realized. So if that is true, and if the A380 is a bit sooner than normal and maybe air traffic control is a bit later than normal, then we might get to see it over here, because this is now the only runway in use for arrivals, which means I also have to update the ticker in that respect. Triple 7 coming in, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. 777-300 ER. Let's see. Right, so those are used for departures right now. Okay. No time to update the ticker right away, so let me do that in a second. This is KLM flight 622, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, 777-300 ER, touching down after 7 hours and 17 minutes of flight. Relatively new 777, 2 years old. First flight January 2021. That is a big mofo. It's always surprising to see how long those fuselages are, because it doesn't show that, it doesn't come across as being such a long airplane when you see it from the front or from the back. I have the same with the Dreamliner 10. Also looks relatively compact, but then when it passes you by, you see how long that fuselage actually is. Right, so departures are taking place from runway 24 and 18 left. Arrivals are now only on 18 right. There we go, updated the ticker. Hey Ina, good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. I am doing fine, as long as it stays dry over here. Which for now it looks like it will do that. Janet asks, is there a slight crosswind as planes approach? Well, there definitely is, Janet. The wind is blowing from the southwest and these airplanes are landing from north to south. So there is crosswind from the right, meaning that the airplanes lean in against the wind towards us. The next airplane to arrive is going to be a Transavia Boeing 737-800 arriving from Ibiza. Wilma, if you're still around, enjoy your lunch, have a nice day, see you soon and thanks for joining. So this is Transavia flight 5672 arriving from Ibiza, 2 hours and 1 minute of flight time under its belt right now. The airplane age is 21 years. Its first flight was in April of the year 2002. Servus Peppi, schön, dass du auch wieder dabei bist. Wie geht's? Und wie ist das Wetter heute in Innsbruck? Immer noch Sonnenschein oder regnet es schon wieder? Now, we still have a patch of blue sky over here, the clouds around it. Well, you have to look a little bit to see some impressive clouds. They are obscured a little bit. Looking to the south, looking to the southwest, looking to the west, and to the northwest. So most of the dark clouds are to the northwest of me. It very much looks like we might get only a few droplets or maybe nothing at all. Our friendly neighborhood, the police, is also coming this way. Ah, und es regnet in Innsbruck. Die Sonnenschein war nur kurz. Aber es regnet noch immer, es gibt noch kein Neuschnee wahrscheinlich. Dafür ist es noch zu früh. Right, our friendly neighborhood, the police, also patrolling the cycling path. Interesting how they both looked away as if they didn't want to appear recognizable on camera. Paul Tripod has put on weight since I've been live streaming. Hard on the back too. Pretty sure that my frequenting of the gym will protect me from a lot of that issues. Best life insurance you can have. Keep all the bones and muscles strong. Now, another Embraer is coming up. KLM flight 988. Embraer 190 arriving from London City. Flight time 39 minutes. Airplane age 5 years. February 2018 was its first flight. I think I even see a patch of blue sky in that part of the sky that I think is blowing towards me. How awesome would it be if we managed to keep it dry over here in the midst of rain showers on all sides. Now looking to the south, I will show you after the landing of this airplane, it does look like a bit more formation of precipitation takes place south of me as well. Could it be that I'm here in an island of no precipitation when all around me precipitation is forming? Divine intervention. Now, so looking to the south, you can see it also looks a bit more like, well, let's just call it unstable atmosphere. But again, looking over here, this is, I think, where the wind is blowing from. This is what is coming towards me, and I think there are even some patches of blue sky there. So this part looks relatively good, and I think this is what is exactly moving towards me. This is more to the west and more to the northwest. Definitely darker over there, but I mean, I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously hopeful that we might dodge the bullet here. And Aphrodite is informing us that the A380 has just entered into German airspace, so an ETA of 54 minutes still. We'll have to wait a little bit for the next air traffic, but the pipeline is filling up again. We are first going to see the Boeing 737-800 from KLM arriving from London Heathrow. Which is over here. Now the wind does seem to be picking up a little bit, so fixate the tripod again so that the camera is as still as possible. KLM flight 1008 arriving from London Heathrow, 40 minutes of flight time right now. 737-800, 12 years old, first flight May 2011. And bom dia, Swaley. Almost missed that message. Welcome to the show. Hope you're having fun. Hope everybody is. If you're new to the channel, don't be afraid to say hi in the chat. Also, should you have any questions, feel free to ask. A lot of knowledgeable folk over here, friendly folk as well. After this 737, we'll see another E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Bergen. There's also a Vueling A320 arriving from Alicante. Also hearing an airplane pass by that probably just took off from runway 24, but unfortunately it is already above the clouds, so I'm only hearing it, but I'm not able to show you guys. Emil asks, what is your favorite airline to spot and what aircraft? Those are difficult questions to answer. I really find it difficult to pinpoint an exact definitive favorite airplane. I like all, and all have pluses and minuses. Aesthetically, one of the most pleasing airplanes of the modern time, I think, is the A350. The A220 is also pretty nice. All-time favorite in passenger flight, of course, the 747-400, the Queen of the Skies. Looking at fighter jets, F-14 Tomcat. I am an 80s kid growing up with Top Gun. Obviously, I have a weak spot for the F-14 Tomcat. And what kind of airlines, favorite airline to spot? Well, that's a very difficult question. Looking at liveries, I really think that the What is it doing? Okay. Floaty landing had me thinking for a minute, is it going to touch down or glide to the gate? Now looking at liveries, I mean, there are a lot of pretty liveries. The KLM livery is nice. I like the dark blue of ITA Airways. I always like looking at the livery of Singapore Airlines. Yeah, there are so many airplanes that are nice special liveries. So difficult questions to give a definitive answer to. There's something pretty in all airplanes. Now, how does that sound? And indeed, Paul, they are approaching Zeewaarts. They are crabbing a little bit because of the crosswind. So this is an A320 from Vueling, flight 1377, arriving from Alicante. 2 hours and 4 minutes of flight time. 14-year-old airplane, first flight May 2009. Very diplomatic, Dark Cloud says. Oh, that is absolutely also a looker, Grace. First time I saw Royal Air Jordanian as a small kid, well, still in elementary school, I thought that maybe the royal family of Jordan had arrived, but then I learned it was just a national carrier, but it looked so neat. I thought, oh, important people have landed. Maybe a king and queen. So yeah, looking in the direction the wind is coming from, I do see more open sky. Patches of blue here and there. So I'm not going to say it too loud, but it does look like maybe we'll be okay over here. That would be terrific. Seeing all those dark clouds over there. Also, directly north of me, it doesn't look that good. I hope that the airplanes will still land on Polderbaan. No, don't jinx it, don't jinx it. Exactly. Right, it is time for Pegasus, and we can also see the next airplane behind it already. That is Aer Lingus Shamrock. First, Pegasus A320 Neo, flight 5911, arriving from Antalya. Current flight time 3 hours 44 minutes. It is a 6-year-old airplane that had its first flight in July 2016. Well, it is slowing down already. It will probably take the first exit to the left. So, butt shot coming in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Alright. When are you coming to Australia again to cover Gold Coast Airport? Well, good question, mate. I definitely intend to go out to other airports abroad later in the future, but I think first growing the channel to a more significant size over here in Amsterdam should be my first priority. But who knows, I might start globetrotting in the future, depending on which way the channel is going, but so far things are moving up, so time will tell. Little application of reverse thrust there by the Shamrock A320. Now one more A320 and then we're going to see a 777-300. Interesting lighting in the background. Two airplanes coming this way. In the foreground, Vueling arriving from Barcelona, A320, flight 8309. Current flight time, 1 hour and 45 minutes. Airplane age, 16 years. First flight, May 2007. Behind it is a KLM 777-300ER in the Sky Team livery. Arriving from Lima in Peru. Almost underway for 12 hours, 11 hours and 46 minutes. KLM flight 744, and of course it isn't a Boeing 744 but a 777. Typical KLM, I think it is an inside joke or something. The airplane, the 777 in as number 2, is 13 years old, first flight August 2009. Ooh, and Tiemann is waiting for pushback. Too bad we cannot see much from departures from over here. But enjoy your flight, mates. Maybe we can see you on your way back. We'll be in touch, undoubtedly. Oh, you're flying to Amsterdam from Turin. Oh, okay. I misunderstood then. Right, next up is that 777-300 arriving from Lima. Sky Team livery. Almost in the air now for half a day. 11 hours and 48 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Makes the duration of a live stream pale in comparison. Although it has to be said, they do not fly the entire flight and have breaks and staff changes in the middle. Now, first up is going to be an A320. After that we are going to see a Boeing 767 from Icelandair. And Janet asks, will this current runway change from landing to departing? That is all dependent on the wind, Janet. So as long as the prevailing wind keeps blowing from the south or the southwest, as it has been all day and the last week or so, if not more, this runway will not be used for departures, because then you will take off with tailwind. Obviously you want to land and take off with headwind. Am I missing it? got some specs on the camera screen. Let me see if I can fix that. Right, wiped off a few specs, should be a bit better visible. EasyJet A320 arriving from Edinburgh. Also a destination that a lot of traffic is flying back and forth between. Well, Timon, don't count on it. I hope I can stay around until the Emirates A380 has landed, but I think I will wrap up after then. It is increasingly looking more volatile over here, although I think I am going to be good over here. Not sure how long before my luck will run out. We do have a few heavies coming in. First one is Icelandair Flight 500. Boeing 767-300 arriving from Reykjavik. 2.5 hours of flight time, 2 hours and 35 minutes to be exact. It is a Boeing 767-300 ER, 23 years old. Its first flight was in February of the year 2000. Grabbing its way to the runway threshold. Looking us straight in the face, the pervert. Old livery with the orange engine casings. Still have to come across people that prefer the new livery of Icelandair to the old. Mixed bag when it comes to the new livery of Aer Lingus. Some like the old better, others like the new better. But I think the vote is quite unanimous when it comes to the new livery of Icelandair. Most prefer that they had kept it with the old. Kavan says, greetings from Slovenia. Good day to you, my friend. Welcome to the show. Hope you're enjoying. Welcome. All other viewers who might be new to the channel, don't be afraid to say hi in the chat. You don't have to if you don't want to, but don't be afraid to do so. Also, should you have any questions, feel free to ask. A lot of people are watching right now and many of them are very knowledgeable. So should you have any questions, shoot, I should say, I'm inclined to say. This is KLM flight 755. It is a Boeing 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil. Flight time 11 hours 5 minutes. And this airplane was already 18 years old. First flight November 2004. Now, big picture. This is looking to the south. This is looking to the southwest. This is looking to the west. And this would be looking to the northwest. So most of the darkness is until over here. The wind is blowing from that direction. It still looks relatively bright on that side. Here it looks even brighter. So yeah. Little chauffeur passing by. So over here we have Dr. Jekyll, or I should say Mr. Hyde. And over here, yay, blue sky. Dr. Jekyll. K3 has been replaced with K2. Looks like that is also a Raptor Ranger Raptor. Little coot swimming in the water, and another coot. Next airplane is also coming closer by. EasyJet A318. It does look like 50 Shades of Grey, doesn't it, Grace? EasyJet A319 arriving from Palma de Mallorca. 2 hours and 7 minutes of flight time. It is 12 years old. First flight July 2011. This is the way the chimney smoke is blowing. That looks like it is more blowing from the west. Now directly west of me we have this. So if that is coming towards me, that doesn't look too well. So we have another airplane on short final. Let me film the landing first and then have another look at the weather radar app. This is Emirates SkyCargo flight 9989. It is a Boeing 777 freighter arriving from Dubai. Current flight time 6 hours 38 minutes. The airplane is 9 years old. First flight June 2014. Right. Let me go to my computer, quickly have a look at the weather radar, see what is going on a close-up. Past hour, and particularly zoom in so that I can specifically look at the details where I am standing. Alright, this is from the past hour. It is getting closer by. But it also looks like it is dissolving a little bit. I do think we are going to see a little bit of rain. Looks like it might coincide with the timing of the A380. It's not going to be very much. It looks like it is dissolving just a little bit as it moves further towards me, but I don't think it will fully dissolve. What's the expected time of arrival of the Emirates A380? After it says 31 minutes to go. So that means it will arrive after 1 o'clock. Which will probably mean it will go to runway center. René says 1:15. Okay. Hey Lars, goedemiddag. Checking in from Friesland, the north of the Netherlands. Also looking up to see where the clouds are moving to. I do get the impression that the wind is blowing from that bright part, that the clouds are moving more from the southwest than from the west. Anyway, Boeing 737-800, KLM flight 1700. It is coming from Madrid in Spain, touching down after an hour and 57 minutes of flight time. The airplane age 24 years old, or it is 24 years old, I should say. Hey Tim, goedemiddag, good afternoon. It does look like the clouds are moving directly towards me from this angle. Or is it? Or are they moving more from right to left? If they are moving from right to left, it means that this might come my way. If it's moving directly towards me, that means that this is coming my way. Alright, Transavia. I think this is, yeah, it is the Peter Pan Holiday Club special livery. Transavia, Boeing 737, arriving from Alicante. Alrighty, next up is Top Air Portugal, Airbus A321neo. And another agricultural vehicle will be passing in a minute, so if you hear anything, that's it. This is Top Air Portugal, flight 674, arriving from Lisbon, A321neo. Flight time of this airplane right now 2 hours 24 minutes. It is a 4-year-old airplane that had its first flight in August 2018. Now, if some of you are interested to learn where the A380 is going to land well in advance, go to the website or use the app if you have an iPhone. Omgevingsinfo Schiphol. Airplanes arriving in the country in Dutch airspace typically already get assigned a landing runway, and you can see it in that app or on that website. So if the A380 enters Dutch airspace, you will probably already can tell which runway it is going to land on. Now if you guys know, do let me know. Research says it is already near the Dutch border, so that is good news. Gary, good morning, checking in from Stansted. Henk, goedemiddag. In Veenendaal it is already raining. Well, hopefully we'll keep it dry over here. We have some dark clouds all around. This is to the north, northwest, west. But then again, southwest, which is also a little bit where the wind is coming from, so fingers crossed. In the meantime, Embraer 195 E2, KLM flight 1598, arriving from Rome after a flight of 1 hour and 56 minutes now, touching down. This is a 2-year-old airplane. First flight of this airplane was in April of the year 2021. Okay, it is definitive. Runway 27 will open up and will be used for landing by the Emirates A380. That means that if it is going to rain, I might as well pack in, because it is not going to be very well visible from over here. That is really disappointing. I will still try to show you what we can see from over here if it is still dry by then. Still looks promising. This is Sky Express flight 1500 A320 Neo, arriving from Rhodos. Flight time 3 hours 43 minutes. 2-year-old airplane, first flight October 2020. Another tractor passing by in the background. Right, next up, 2 Embraers. First up an Embraer 175, after that an Embraer 190. Can we see the second Embraer already? Don't believe we can. First up is KLM flight 1534, Embraer 175, arriving from Darlington, or Teesside as it is now referred to in flight radar. Flight time of this airplane 53 minutes. It is a 5-year-old airplane that had its first flight in January of the year 2018. Yes, you're right, Hans, more A220s. Although the howling sound is also produced by the E2 Embraer 195s, they have engines of the same family. Particularly when you're standing at the Kaagbaan for arrivals, do you hear that really well. But if you listen closely, they sound very similar. They both have the same geared turbofan engines. Not the exact same, but they are of the same family. Alright, I do start feeling a few first droplets now. Let me once again consult the weather radar, see what it looks like right now. If it's only a few droplets, then of course nothing needs to happen. It very much looks like only a few droplets. We're going to... Let's look at it again. I'm now consulting the close-up weather radar for the past hour, see what is happening. It doesn't look like it is completely dissolved. No, I think we are going to see some rain shortly. Here is our favorite chocolate Lifesaver chocolatery livery, the DAPRI. 15 years old, first flight January 2008. We all know it by heart or by now. Embraer 190 flying for KLM, arriving from Stuttgart by the looks of it. Hey there, Lance. Good to see you, mate. And that rain is running towards me. Absolutely, I just consulted the weather radar. And this is more or less what is coming this way. It's not going to be a whole lot. Then again, it was already confirmed that the A380 is going to land on runway 27 about the Velderbaan. And you can see just a little bit of detail when zooming in for airplanes arriving, but you really only can see that it is an A380, so it's not really that worthwhile. Now we do have a few heavies coming in. 3 consecutive heavies, an A330-200, an A330-300 and an Aeromexico Dreamliner. So I'm thinking maybe I stick around until then and then just call it a day, because why waste risking the equipment if the king of the day is going to land far away. Now, some people refer to the play airplanes as lipstick livery, others do it for this. Come to think of it, it does resemble a lipstick somewhat. I get where people are getting it from. Plain Jane livery for Norwegian. Yeah, we do get some showers. And it is said that it is going to rain later in the day. We also don't have that happy side looking over here anymore. The beautiful clouds that we were able to see. Well, these are also beautiful clouds to see, but they are of a different nature. Right, so 3 heavies coming in. I think I'm gonna call it quits after that. This is MASkargo flight 6126. Arriving from Doha, A330-200. Current flight time 6 hours and 32 minutes. A330-200 freighter, 11 years old. First flight March 2012. For the people wondering if I'm not going to stick around for the A380, I don't think you guys realize just how little you can see from the A380 landing on runway 27 while being situated over here. It really is only a speck in the distance that you can see. Like for instance, this helicopter is now in the vicinity of the glide slope to runway 27. Let me show you an example. Here, this is what you can see from over here. So the only thing you could see is, oh, it's an A380. That's it. You cannot see the landing. What I can see over here already is precipitation falling in the distance. You can already see the haziness. So it is already starting to rain like a kilometer north of me. You can already see how the next airplane is obscured. That is precipitation between it and us. This is Delta Airlines flight 144, Airbus A330-300, arriving from Seattle. 9 hours and 2 minutes of flight time right now. 19-year-old airplane. First flight August 2003. Will we be hearing the reversers? Yes. Right, ladies and gentlemen, last airplane of the day. It is starting to rain over here as well. Mexico flight 25. Will we be able to see it? It is starting to rain already. I will have to get the umbrella out right now. You can already see how the precipitation has lowered the visibility. Let me see, camera is still... So, one hand camera operation. Mexico flight 25, Boeing 787-8, arriving from Mexico City. She's 9 years old, first flight October 2013. Right. Now let me first turn the camera back to this side so that at least rain droplets won't get onto the lens. First fixate the tripod a little bit. So it is raining right now. I am going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a short saying goodbye. Thank you all so much for joining me. I had a great time and I hope you guys did too. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you saw, consider subscribing so that whenever I go live again, you get notified, or at least you can enable notifications. I am looking to go out live again later in the week. Normally I would go out on Thursdays, but I believe that Thursday is going to be a rainy day throughout the entire day, so I'll probably have a day off then. Hopefully I will be able to go back again live on Friday. Hope to see you then. Thanks to everyone who was so kind to donate super chats, super stickers, super likes. Become a member, donate memberships. You guys are the best and this channel wouldn't be anything without you guys. Take care, talk to you soon, stay safe, bye for now.